called as the thallus organization. So already we discussed few example in case of unicellular, multicellular with respect to green algae. In case of this brown algae, we discussed unicellular structure totally absent, but yes, multicellular structures are present, and we discussed some examples. Right now, today we are talking about few examples with respect to red algae. Okay, so first of all, we are taking example for the unicellular. Just wait, okay. Yeah. So now we are talking about the further part with respect to unicellular structure, unicellular red algae. So whatever the information is present, we are talking about with respect to unicellular. And second part, we are talking about multicellular. In case of this multicellular, first example we are talking about polycyphonia. First example, polycyphonia. Whenever we are talking about the typical structure, polycyphonia basically is a branch structure. Another structure with respect to multicellular, we already discussed this example, that is Bradycostomum, which is a knotted red color green alga. It is having olive to blue color. So second example under the multicellular, Bradycostomum, which is a knot red in color. And the third example we are talking about very unique because these are the parasitic. See, whenever we are talking about the algae basically they have the property, means they can synthesize their own food because these are the photoautotrophs. But with respect to red algae, we are taking one exception case. An example, Harveyella. Harveyella. Harveyella, basically these are the example of parasitic red algae. These are parasitic. And why we say parasitic? Because it is depend on, for the food, it is depend on other red algae. So parasitic, why these are the parasitic? Because these are the colorless, not involved in photosynthesis process. So for food, it depend upon other red algae. Because see, whenever we are talking about algae, definitely these are having the unique property, all these are the photosynthetic, they can synthesize their own food. But still we have an exception case with respect to red algae. Example, Harveyella. Harveyella, basically these are the colorless red algae, and due to that colorless property, these are act as a parasitic, and for the food it is depend upon other red algae. Got it? This point is clear, everyone? This point is clear? Okay. Shivangi Pratyusha Ramchandra. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, very good. Chalo. Now we are talking about next part. So quickly see. We are talking about chart. All information we are writing in chart. Okay. So these are the number third, that is body organization. Number 4, we are talking about body structure. Next feature, next characteristic, we are talking about body structure. Body structure means we are talking about diagrammatic representation. So first of all, we are talking about the green, then brown, and finally we are talking about the red. So first of all, we are talking about structure, body structure in case of green algae. And under the green algae, we are talking about one and this very simple example. No, it has unicellular. Write down. Actually, I forgot to tell you. 1 second. 4-sided here actually. Example. 4-sided here. Okay. 4-sided here. So these are the examples for unicellular red algae. For the brown algae, we don't have any unicellular example, but green and the red algae, both they has unicellular as well as the multicellular. Write down porphyridium. Algae से ना example पे question नहीं आते. Whatever the question coming with respect to example, that is coming from the green algae and the brown algae. And हम आगे देखेंगे when we talk about the economic importance. That time you have to remember the example of red algae, that is glaciolaria, and the another one which is responsible for the production of the agar agar. So we discuss that part later. Porphyra, porphyra also, these are the unicellular. Porphyra also. So no need to remember this example from the red algae. When we talk about the economic importance, that time you remember the example. Chalo. So now we are talking about the next part, that is structure. Again, I am telling you, these are the just photo memory for the structure, because there is a no question on the structure, draw neat level structure. But sometimes what happen? They give a diagrammatic representation and you have to recognize that. So we are talking about green algae. Under the green algae, we are taking the very simple example, that is Chlamydomonas. Inside the Chlamydomonas, basically, these are the chloroplast. This typical structure, that is chloroplast. Near the chloroplast, there is a presence of nucleus. There is a presence of nucleus. Now, in near the nucleus, there is a presence of contractile vacuole. Because you know very well, there is a presence of contractile vacuole. Because Chlamydomonas is a dual organism. Some property resembles to plant and some property resembles to animal. So nucleus and near the nucleus, here we draw the two green color dot. That green color dot, nothing but these are the contractile vacuole. Now Chlamydomonas, yeah Pratyusha, yeah, got it. Now it's okay. Okay. So continue part. We are talking about typical structure for the Chlamydomonas. And in this Chlamydomonas, you know very well, these are the unicellular green algae who has the flagella. So we are talking about flagella. Part. Now there is the presence of the nucleus, second part. Now these two dots, for example, they are representing contractile vacuole, right? Okay, so got it. Now sound is clear. Sound is clear. Suhas. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. So we are talking about typical structure of the Chlamydomonas. Repeating point. Chlamydomonas, basically these are the flagellated, unicellular flagellated green algae. It has the flagella. Second part, it has the contractile vacuole, as well as it has the nucleus, and as well as it has the chloroplast. So very simple structure with respect to green algae. Now we are talking about next part with respect to brown algae. Okay. In case of this brown algae, we are taking this some more detailed diagrammatic explanations. And first example, we are talking about laminaria. First example, we are talking about laminaria. So whenever we are talking about the brown algae, in case of this brown algae, three very basic important part. Very basic. So first of all, we draw the simple structure. Base. Now these are the some stick-like structure. And finally, there is a presence of some leaf-like structure. So we are talking about structure for the laminaria. In case of this laminaria, yeah. In case of this laminaria, whatever we are draw the green color structure, that green color structures, these are called as the frond. Okay, frond. What is meaning of frond? Frond basically these are the green in color. And if I'm talking about these are the structure is similar to leaf. So simply we are talking about these are the leaf-like structure. And what is the name? Name basically these are called as the frond. 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 Okay. Frond basically these are the green in color because whenever we start the algae, already we discussed one point, that is algae basically non-cormophytes. What is meaning of non-cormophytes? True root, true stem, true leaf, totally absent. But similar structure present hoga, right? So similarly we are talking about there is a presence of this frond, and this frond basically this frond basically green in color. And if I'm talking about how this structure is look, it is look like a leaf like structure. Now middle part, ये जो middle part है, this middle part these are called as the stip, which is a behave like a stem. And finally we are talking about hold fast, who behave like a root. So I'm talking about this simple structure. Frond basically, these are the green in color, behave like a leaf. Whenever we are talking about this tip basically these are the stem like structure because true stems, true leaf, root totally absent. And hold fast. What is the function of the root? Basically they can adhere, they can absorb. So similarly in case of the brown algae, there is a presence of the hold fast, and this hold fast behave like a root. So basically these are the root like structure. Structure means what? Functionally they are similar with root, stem and the leaf. So these are the very simple structure with respect to laminaria. There is a presence of the three important part. Number one, hold fast. Number second, stip. And the number third, that is frond. Now, after the laminaria, we are taking the second example exactly below in brown algae column, fucus. Second example, we are talking about fucus. Because we discuss this part when we talk about the pigments. Okay, Pratyusha, just wait. Because pigments are vary. Photosynthetic pigment. That's why it is kept under the brown phaeophyce. So next part we are talking about the fucus. Again, we are taking the diagrammatic representation for the fucus. So it has the hold fast like this. Again, it has the stip. And finally, it is having the frond. But frond, it is having the branch structure like this. Okay. And the very unique property, it has air bladder. Air cavity present in case of presence in frond. So quickly I am giving the name. Base ho gaya, that is hold fast. Now these are the middle part, these are called as the stip. And yes, Suhas, I'll explain that part. And finally we are talking about this part, these are called as the frond. Okay, frond basically green in color. यहाँ पे भी same होगा, it's a green in color. But there is a unique property with respect to fucus. There is a presence of air bladder. Air cavity, or simply you can say air bladders are present in case of the fucus. Now third example we are talking about dictyota. Same under the brown algae. We are talking about example, that is dictyota. In case of the dictyota, basically there is a one unique property with respect to frond. Frond, basically these are highly branched. These are the typical structure which is highly branched. Okay, highly branched. So now in this condition, we are talking about typical structure, how it is look. So I'll draw the structure of the dictyota. Now there is a presence of the holdfast. Now there is a presence of the stick, but now frond basically branched. So कुछ इस तरह से दिखेगा, like this. Your choice, you draw it if you want, like this. So now these are the presence of the frond, and frond basically these are the highly branched. Very simple structure. No question from the how there, what is the function of that frond, what is the function of that holdfast. No, there is no question. But again, I'm telling you photo memory. Just check the name, laminaria, and just check the images. And whatever the diagram is given, you have to only stick to NCERT. NCERT के बाहर का एक भी example भी नहीं करना है, and not even diagram. So whatever is giving diagrammatic representation, you have to stick only for the NCERT. Okay? So just read the NCERT examples with diagram. Got it? Okay. So these are the three basic structure with respect to laminaria, fucus, and the dictyota. But all these three very common process. There is a presence of the holdfast, stick, and the frond. Okay, Deepika. Pooja. Done? Okay, sure. Last and very simple example with respect to red algae. Sure. Next point we are talking about with respect to red algae. In case of this red algae, we are taking example Polysiphonia. Okay. Example Polysiphonia. In module, it is given the more detail whether we should NCERT or with module. Ramchandra, solve the question from the modules, whatever the question is given, and whenever you do study, class notes plus NCERT, दोनों को combine करना है, because during the class definitely we give NCERT level as well as the whatever the last year 10 years question pattern is there. So everything is included. So you have to read notebook, along with that you have to read NCERT, both. And whatever we are talking about the modules basically these are the, if you see, these are the on EMS level and the AIPMT level, so that that level is arranged according to that. So definitely explanation is more, but during the classes you will get somewhere, you get this some short point during the class. So don't worry, just go through once, and but solve the questions, whatever the question is given behind the that module, you have to solve each and every question plus assignment. Pratyusha, just once you read, just once, at least once. Okay. So next part we are talking about, that is Polysiphonia. In case of this Polysiphonia, we had already discussed this point. Basically, it is having the branch structure, highly branched because it's a multicellular. And in case of this multicellular, basically it's very common it having the branch structure. So simply we are taking the simple structure, branch. So this stick, nothing but it is called as the main axis, which is behave like a stem. That's it. Simple. So these are the typical structure of Polysiphonia branch structure, because they don't have the frond structure. They have something a branch structure, because frond, these are the very unique to brown algae. Done? Okay, chalo. So these are the simple structure with respect to Polysiphonia. Now we are talking about next part, cell wall, plastid and the pigment, photosynthetic pigment. So please continue the table. I'll draw it again. Green algae, brown algae and the red algae. Okay. And we are talking about the next part, cell wall. Next part, that is cell wall. So first of all, we are talking about cell wall which is present in case of the green algae. Okay, under the green algae point. Whenever we are talking about the cell wall basically it is having the two layers, outer layer and the inner layer. There is a presence of the two layer, number one outer layer and the number second inner layer. Whenever we are talking about the outer layer, these are the made up of the simply pectin. Outer layer basically it is made up of the simply material, that is pectin material, pectin or you can say pectate. Simple, you know very well, pectin basically is the one type of the carbohydrate. And whenever we are talking about the inner layer, these are made up of the material, that is cellulose. Very simple cell wall structure with respect to green algae. No question from the green algae according to previous year questions. So simple structure like other plants, it is made up of the pectin plus cellulose. Whatever the question is coming, cell wall, that question is coming from the brown algae and the red algae because it has some unique point. So next point we are talking about cell wall with respect to brown algae. Same point. Whenever we are talking about the brown algae, inside this brown algae, cell wall basically having the two layers, outer layer and as well as there is a presence of inner layer. Okay, so we are talking about two types of the layer, outer and the inner. यहाँ पे भी same होगा. Whenever we are talking about the inner layer basically these are made up of the cellulose. No change. Cellulose, these are the inner layer. It is present in all type of this algae. So there is a no change with respect to inner layer of cell wall in case of green, brown and the red. Change कहाँ पे होगा? Change, it's always with respect to outer cell wall layer. And whatever the question is coming, that question coming from the outer cell wall. Now, when we are talking about outer cell wall in case of this brown algae, basically it has some phycocolloid or hydrocolloid material. Okay, so we are talking about this outer layer. It is made up of this some specific type of this material. That material is called as the hydrocolloid. Hydrocolloid, or in other language, these are layer also called as the phycocolloid. Phycocolloid. Meaning of the both sentence, these are the same. You can say hydrocolloid or you can say phycocolloid. So what is meaning of this phyco or the hydrocolloid? Whenever we are talking about this word, that is phyco or the hydrocolloid, please write down in margin. So this material, nothing but we are talking about, these are the one specific type of the material who has good water holding capacity. So we are talking about what is the meaning of hydrocolloid or the phycocolloid, the material who has good water holding capacity. So we are talking about good water hold. Good water holding capacity. And such type of this material, commonly these are called as the phycocolloid or simply these are called as the hydrocolloid. Because see, hydro means what? Something a watery part is there. And phyco means what? So again there is a who protect from the drying, who protect from the freezing effect. So definitely we are talking about it has the good water holding capacity. Under this point we are taking the examples of phycocolloid or examples of hydrocolloid. Examples, okay? Under the phycocolloid point, we are talking about three types of phycocolloid. Three types. How many types are there? Total three types. So one by one, we are writing the name. Number one, we are talking about fusine. Number second, algene. And the number third, fucodine. Number third, that is fucodine. Okay. So question, whenever we are talking about phycocolloid material, what is meaning of the phycocolloid material? The material who has the good water holding capacity, right? Such type of this material, these are called as the phycocolloid or also called as the hydrocolloid. In case of this brown algae, basically three types of phycocolloid materials are present. Three types, right? Number one, that is algane, fucodine, as well as the fusine. So all these are the one specific type of the material which is present in brown algae who has good water holding capacity. Got it? This point is clear, everyone? This point is clear? Komal, Pratyusha, Deepika, okay. Ramchandra. What about the other students? What about the other students? You have to remember only this point. Fusine, algene and the ficodine. That's it. Okay? Yeah. Okay, Isha. Chalo. Now last point we are talking about cell wall with respect to red. In case of this red algae, again we are talking about cell wall. These are the made up of two layers. Number one, that is outer, and the number second, that is inner. Okay, यहाँ पे भी same होगा. Inner layer, these are made up of the cellulose. So no need to remember inner layer because in all algae inner layer is made up of cellulose. So जहाँ पे common होंगे वहाँ से question नहीं बनेगा. Question coming from in outer layer, which is a hydrocolloid material, right? Whatever the outer layer is present, now that outer layer it is made up of the some material that is hydrocolloid. Material is present, again it has some hydrocolloid material. But examples are different, right? And under the hydrocolloid, we are taking the examples. Again, here we are talking about these are the three types. Number one hydrocolloid material who has the good water holding capacity, that is agar. Okay? Agar, you know very well. Neat favorite question. Another example, we are talking about phenolic. Again, these are the example of hydrocolloid material who has the good water holding capacity. And the number third example, that is carrageenan. Third example, carrageenan. So I am repeating this point again. Fusine, algene, ficodine. Hydrocolloid material in case of brown algae. Agar, phenolic, carrageenan. Hydrocolloid material in case of red algae. Right? And one neat favorite question which is coming from the agar. Agar, basically these are the one type of the solidifying agent which is used in plant tissue culture, which is used for the separation of the DNA, RNA, right? And what is the source? Source, basically these are the red algae, example Gelidium and the Glacillarium. One example, that is Gelidium, and the another example Gracilaria. Question. Okay. Agar, basically these are the one type of the solidifying agent. We discussed this part under the economic importance, but here I am taking the examples. Agar, these are the one type of the solidifying agent which is used for the thickening, which is used mostly in plant tissue culture. Pratyusha, sometimes it is also used in ice cream also as a thickening agent. But if I'm talking about, if I'm talking about the major use of that agar mostly used in plant tissue culture. Okay? Wait a minute, I'll share the image so we'll get clear cut idea. I'll just check the chat box. Okay. So if you see image, these are the one technique plant tissue culture where inside the glass container or maybe good quality plastic container, we have to grow the plant without soil. So if you see at the bottom something a turbid is present, something a gel like structure. That gel like structure these are the simply called as the agar. Normally क्या होता है? Red algae को harvest करेंगे. It's converted into powder purification and now it is converted. Finally, it is converted into white color powder. That white color powder when we boil with water, so that powdery form slowly converted into gel form. So such type of the gel, if I'm talking about that gel, during that gel preparation you can add everything, means you can add the carbon source, hydrogen source, nitrogen source, plant growth regulator, sugar which is required for the plant growth, right? And with the help of that agar plus other nutrient, that complete structure, that complete what we say, that solidifying agent, it is behave like a soil, because soil again these are the used as a substratum, as well as soil these are the rich with the nutrient. तो ये agar क्या है? Agar basically these are the when you boil with water, so it is converted into gel, and that gel nothing but it is act as a substratum who can, so root can hold that agar, and they can absorb the nutrient from the agar and showing the growth and the development. So ये part हम discuss करेंगे in detail plant tissue culture. So here we are talking about the one question. Agar basically these are the one solidifying agent mostly which is used in plant tissue culture. It is used for the bacterial culture if you want to grow bacteria in plate in laboratory, and sometimes in ice cream, in jellies. Simply it is used as a thickening agent. Sometimes, not all time. Okay, chalo. So these are the some point with respect to cell wall and the question coming from outer layer, that is hydrocolloid. So this point is clear. Is this any doubt with respect to cell wall? Any doubt with respect to cell wall? Okay, Suhas. Now, next part we are talking about plastid. So, before a few minutes, Pratyusha asked me one question. These are the green, so why we not kept in green algae? Why we separately kept? Reason अब यहाँ पे हम देख रहे हैं. Why green algae, brown algae, and the red algae we kept into three different categories? Because it is totally depend upon which type of plastid is present. Plastid, okay, which is involved in photosynthesis. Which type of plastid is present, and along with that, which type of pigments are involved. So this totally depend upon that. So next part, after the cell wall, we are talking about part of plastid. So again, green algae, brown algae, and the red algae. Rubaika, share me reference. Next part we are talking about algae. अरे रुबाइका, algae तो हमने वही बोला ना, algae, algine, fucine, and the fucodine. Basically, these are the brown algae. And brown algae का दूसरा नाम क्या है? These are also called as the pheophyce. True now. Then what's the problem? See, fucine. It's a part of brown algae. And brown algae also called as the pheophyce. Pheo means brown. Pheo means colorless. Okay? Brown or colorless. Phyce means these are the suffix which is used for the algae. Rubaika, got it? We are talking about green algae. And under the green algae, we are talking about next part, that is plastic. And in this point, we are talking about why such type of this algae, it is divided into three different parts. Now, next point, whenever we are talking about the plastid, in case of this green algae, that plastid simply called as the chloroplast. Chloroplast. Why chloroplast? Because it has more green color pigment. Chloroplast, because it's a part of the chlorophyce. And whenever we are talking about these are the chloroplast, basically these are the agranulated plastid. The first point, plastid is called as the chloroplast, and the second point, basically these are the agranule plastid. So what is meaning of agranule? Had you know about the grana? Yes, had you heard about the grana? Grana, stroma, grana, which is present in chloroplast structure. Yes, okay. So now what happened if you see the typical structure of the chloroplast? Inside the chloroplast, thylakoid present. Now that all thylakoid, they arrange like this in linear fashion. So we are talking about these are the all the thylakoids, they arrange in a linear fashion. So that arrangement simply it is called as the grana. Grana means what? Thylakoid arrange in a linear manner. So what is meaning of this agranal plastid? Agranal plastid means that thylakoid present but no grana arrangement, no linear arrangement. So here we are talking about whatever that typical structure which is present in chloroplast, that is thylakoid. Thylakoid present randomly. It is not present in specific manner. So what is meaning of this randomly? Suppose these are the structure of chloroplast. Inside this chloroplast we are talking about यहाँ पे plastid present है. Now these are the another thylakoid, third thylakoid, fourth thylakoid. These are the fifth one. So if you see the arrangement of thylakoid, basically it is not in a linear fashion, right? So how the thylakoid they get arranged? They arrange randomly anywhere, right? हाँ, unstacked भी कह सकते हो, or you can say that is not a linear fashion. Because now what happened whenever we are talking about the plant, higher plants. In case of this higher plant, typical structure of the grana present. It means that thylakoid arranged in a linear fashion. So yes, it is true, but it's true only for the higher plants. But whenever we are talking about the algae basically these are the lower class under the plant kingdom. So whatever the thylakoids are present, thylakoid to present hoga definitely, but that thylakoid they present randomly anywhere, not a specific arrangement. So such type of this thylakoid these are called as the agranal. Agranal means what? Grana absent. Got it? Agranal means what? Grana absent. Thylakoid present but randomly without grana. That's why it is called as the agranal plastid. So simple, whenever we are talking about the green algae, there is a presence of the plastid and name of the plastid, please underline that is called as the chloroplast. Now under the brown algae, यहाँ पे भी plastid present होगा, but now we are talking about brown algae also called as the phaeophyceae. Pheo, that's why from pheo the word get originated and these are called as the phaeoplast. These are called as the phaeoplast. Everything is same, but now name is get changed. This name it is called as the phaeoplast. Okay? Has. And whenever we are talking about the phaeoplast, again same point, it has agranal plastid. Similar यहाँ पे point होगा agranal plastid. But now what happened in this condition we are talking about the number of thylakoid is less. Number of thylakoid is less. And here thylakoid present randomly in high number. So यहाँ पे thylakoid के number high होंगे. So high thylakoid presence. High thylakoid numbers are present but in random. So phaeoplast simply it is a part of the phaeophyceae. That's why whatever the plastid is present, simply we are giving the name that is phaeoplast. So phaeoplast present hoga. And similarly we are talking about for the red algae. Name of the red algae that is rhodophyceae. Rhodo, right? So the whatever the plastid name it is gave, that name is called as the rhodoplast. Which plast? Rhodo. Okay, rhodoplast. And if I'm talking about how many thylakoids are present, so in this condition only single thylakoids are present. Only single thylakoid is present. So one point why we differentiate all these plastid, all this green algae into three parts, because it is depend upon which type of this plastid is present, and the second point it is also depend upon how many number of thylakoids are present. So यहाँ से question नहीं बनेगा, don't worry, you have to just remember only name, chloroplast, phaeoplast and the rhodoplast. That's it. Okay, it's for your understanding purpose why we separated into why this algae is divided into three parts. So this point with respect to plastid. Once finish this point, tell me next point we are talking about neat favorite part, that is pigments, which is present with respect to all these three types of algae. Done? Should I continue? So next point we are talking about pigments, photosynthetic pigments. Pigments also get varied. That's why all these algae we divide into three different types. Need favorite part? Question. Chalo. So we are talking about, you know very well, chlorophyll A pigment. A, small a. Chlorophyll A pigment, these are the most abundant in world. Most abundant. Among the all chlorophyll pigment, these are the most abundant and the most common, because chlorophyll A, it is present from photosynthetic bacteria up to higher plants. Whenever we are talking about the green color, that green color, it is associated with the chlorophyll, right? But if I'm talking about in all these three types of the algae, chlorophyll A, these are the common. Variation कहाँ पे होगा? Variation now with respect to second pigment, that is chlorophyll B, present in green algae. Then chlorophyll C, present in case of brown algae, and finally chlorophyll D, which is present in red algae. So remember, very simple to remember, A present in all and B, C, D. Sequence याद रखो, B, C, D, green, brown, red, B, C, D. Okay, so these are the pigments which is get vary from green, brown, red. That's why we divide. Visible, visible. Okay. Yeah. Chalo. So quickly we are talking about the further part. Rubaika, your explanation is true, beta. That is also given because it is a part of the algin. Because see, algin kya hai? Algin basically these are the one component which is responsible for the water holding capacity. Okay? Yeah. So continue करते हैं. Chlorophyll A present in all, B, C, D. These are the second component. And next point we are talking about presence of the xanthophyll. One unique question coming from second pigment which is present, that is xanthophyll. Xanthophyll, right? And along with that we are talking about there is a presence of carotene also. Okay? Xanthophyll as well as there is a presence of carotene also. Now when we are talking about with respect to brown algae, थोड़ा सा यहाँ पे change होगा. At the place of the xanthophyll, now there is a presence of fucoxanthin. Fuco word coming from the fucus. Okay, fuco. So xanthin है, definitely these are the xanthin. Xanthin, whenever we are talking about the yellow color range pigment, chlorophyll green color का होगा, but whenever we are talking about the xanthophyll pigment or keratin pigment, it means that these are the consist of something yellow, orange color or something a yellow color shade, तो उसी के range में होगा. So what is the change? Here we are talking about there is a presence of this xanthophyll, but in the presence of, in case of this brown algae, there is a presence of the fucoxanthin. One question from the fucoxanthin. Second point, similarly, green algae, in case of this brown algae also there is a presence of carotene. So there is a no change with respect to carotene. Change कहाँ पे होगा? Change only with respect to fucoxanthin, which is present in case of brown algae. Now we are talking about very unique property, very unique property which is present with respect to red algae. Chlorophyll A present होगा, chlorophyll D also present. Now we are talking about there is a presence of something blue and the red color pigment that is called as the phycobilins. So at the place of this pigment, just 1 second. Yeah, okay. I think. So, had you covered that part, writing part, chlorophyll with respect to green algae and the brown algae? Because now we are talking about next part with respect to red algae. Had you covered that part, writing part? No. Okay, Rubaita, just wait. Okay. Green, brown, and the red. So here the chlorophyll A, and the chlorophyll A. Okay. Now chlorophyll B, C, D. Now there is a presence of the xanthophyll और यहाँ पे present होगा fucoxanthin which is very unique name derived from the fucus. Again there is a presence of carotene and here also there is a presence of the carotene. Got it? Okay. Yeah, pigments. Yeah, it's about the pigments. It's about the pigments. Now we are talking about the red color. In case of this red color, we are talking about something unique sequence are present. In case of this red algae, something unique, what we say, pigments are present, and that pigment simply it is called as the phycobilins. Phyco. red color, light blue color, and the blue color pigment. So we are talking about specific type of the pigments, that is phycobilins. Something unique, okay? Phycobilins present. These are the unique pigments. When we are talking about the phycobilins, again it is having the three types. I hope you remember, in case of cyanobacteria we already discussed this point. ये यहाँ पे फिर से repeat हो रहा है. Phycobilins. Under the phycobilins, we are talking about the three types, three different colored pigments which is come under the phycobilins and very unique, only and only present in case of red algae. First point, red color pigment, and that red color pigment simply it is called as the phycoerythrin. Erythrin, okay? So you know very well that erythrocyte, basically these are the RBC. So that word it is derived from erythrin, erythrocytes. So phycoerythrin means that these are the red color pigments which is present in case of red algae. Now number second, we are talking about phycocyanine. Phycocyanine means what? Blue color. Okay, blue color. So next point we are talking about, that is phycocyanine. You know very well, जहाँ पे cyanide word होगा, cyanide represent the blue color. So now the color of that pigment, basically these are the blue color. And third, last point, phycoalocyanine. We already discussed this part under the BGA, cyanobacteria. These pigments. Remember, we draw the structure of the cyanobacteria. And under the cyanobacteria, we discuss the bacteriophycobilins. So same pigments होते वहाँ पे. So third pigment we are talking about, that is allophycocyanine. Don't worry, during the revision classes we cover that part. Allophycocyanine, and this allophycocyanine basically again it has the blue color but comparatively light blue. Allo थोड़ा सा light color का shade होगा, light blue color shade. Okay. So now what happened whenever we are talking about the red algae having the chlorophyll A, chlorophyll D, right? Along with that, there is a presence of the blue color pigment, light blue color pigment, as well as the red color pigment. But why we say these are the red, mostly red? Because phycoerythrin, out of these three, phycoerythrin, these are the present in most amount. Mostly phycoerythrin, these are the red color pigment present in high amount as compared to other pigment. That's why we are including this part under which part? Rhodophyceae, that is red algae. Okay, so basically these are the two major reasons. Number one, plastid, and number second, pigment. Plastid also get vary, as well as the pigments also get vary. On the basis of the pigment, now the functions also get vary. So that's why algae is divided into three different classes: Rhodophyceae, Phaeophyceae, and the Rhodophyceae. Got it, Suhas and Pratyusha? This part is clear with respect to pigment. Okay. We are talking about NEET 2020 question. Can you tell me that question is related to reserved food? Draw the line. Next feature, next characteristic we are talking about storage. Storage in case of this green algae, in case of the brown algae, as well as in case of red algae. Anyone can you tell me that question if you remember? In this NEET 2020, there is one question on the storage. Anyone? Okay, chalo. So we are talking about one question from the NEET 2016. Reserved food material in case of storage means we are talking about reserved food material. And you know very well, in case of this green algae, whatever the reserved food material is present, that is starch plus oil. Mostly there is a presence of this starch, but along with that we have some evidences in some points where we can say there is a presence of the oil also. So reserved food material, these are the common in case of the green algae. Second point, whenever we are talking about, in case of this green algae, there is one question, very unique question. Starch storage body or starch storing body called as pyrenoids. Okay? Okay, Pratyusha, got it. So starch storing body, and that starch storing body simply it is called as the pyrenoid. One question, what is meaning of the pyrenoid? So remember, pyrenoid, these are the nothing but these are the starch storage body. Now one heart level question अगर बना तो okay with respect to pyrenoid, simple straightforward question according to previous NEET 2016. What is the starch storage body? Means storage body which is present in case of the green algae, that is pyrenoid. Pyrenoid basically these are the made up of the starch. But now sometime what happened? We have to remember this point. At the center there is a presence of certain enzyme. I draw the structure of the pyrenoid. Okay. So center में क्या present है? Center में present है enzyme. These are the present of the enzyme who produce the starch, and that enzyme nothing but we can say that is protein. But toward the outer side, now what happened? That enzyme it starts secreting the starch. So what is this color? These are we are talking about. These are the starch which is present toward the outer side. So sometimes there is some critical. अगर hard level में question बना, okay, means what we say, fourth level question, very hard question. So that question it is arise from pyrenoid. It is consist of what? So pyrenoid basically it is consist of the two part. It is a combination of protein which is present toward the inner side, and as well as it is a what we say, composition of the carbohydrate. So carbohydrate basically it is present toward the outer side and the protein present toward the inner side. Because now what happened at the center, a specific type of enzymes are present like starch synthetase. I'm not taking the name, but just remember starch synthetase enzyme present at the center of the pyrenoid. And you know that all enzymes, these are the protein in nature, right? So whenever we are talking about that enzyme synthesize this starch, they produce this starch and they secrete outside. So whenever we are talking about the typical structure of the pyrenoid, at the center enzyme present, at the center protein is present, and toward the outer side starch get covered. So pyrenoid basically these are the combination of protein plus carbohydrate. Definitely, what is the pyrenoid? Pyrenoid basically these are the starch storing body. Straightforward question. अगर question ऐसे हो गया, starch storage body, name pyrenoid. But if question like that, pyrenoid it is made up of what? So pyrenoid it is made up of protein plus carb. Got it? Got it? This point is clear, everyone? These are the NEET 2016 question which is already asked, and straightforward question. Pyrenoid present in green algae, function storage of starch. Done? Okay, cool. Chalo. Now quickly we are talking about the brown algae. In case of the brown algae, no question, but still we are writing this part. Okay, should I continue next part? Okay, Pooja. Chalo. Now back to pavilion, we go in brown algae. Okay, brown algae. For the brown algae, we are taking some code word MOL. MOL. M stand for one sugar, that is mannitol. These are the one alcoholic sugar, mannitol sugar. O stand for oil, and L stand for laminarian. Again, these are the one type of the sugar, or you can say these are the one type of carbohydrate. That's it. यहाँ से क्वेश्चन नहीं बनेगा. Just remember MOL, mannitol oil, laminarian, because laminarian derived from laminaria, like a fucoxanthin. Fucoxanthin derived from fucus, laminarian derived from laminaria. यहाँ से क्वेश्चन नहीं बनेगा. And Pratyusha, now we are taking NEET 2020 question, which is asked in this NEET examination. In case of this red algae, storage body which is produced, that storage body simply is called as starch, that is Floridian starch. Which starch? Floridian. Okay. And straightforward, mute your mic please. And straightforward question coming from these Floridian starch basically structurally resembles to glycogen and amylopectin. So we are talking about these are structurally resembles to glycogen plus amylopectin. Amylopectin basically it is a part of the starch. Okay. So as it is question coming in the 2020, so definitely repeat तो नहीं होगा question, but just remember might be possible हो सकता है. So Floridian starch. Another question. So अब तक दो ही question बने यहाँ से. One question that respect to what we say pyrenoid, which is reserved for material in case of green algae, and in case of the red algae, Floridian starch. And what is the question? Floridian starch, the structure resembles to glycogen and amylopectin. Structurally, they are similar. Got it? This point is clear? Okay. Okay. Komal, Pooja, Asmita, Isha. समर्थ है क्या? समर्थ, निहाल, अमन, Giant is there. Okay. Alicia, had you attended the previous classes? Hmm? Alicia, had you attended previous classes? Okay. Disha. Okay, fine. Chalo, very good. Now we are talking about next part. See, straightforward question. Pyreno, what we say, fluoride starch, and the another one that is uh, pyrenoid, which is a reserved food material. Next part we are talking about reproduction, and these are the last part with respect to differentiation. Chalo. Quickly we divide this page into three parts. And next part we are talking about reproduction. And very uniquely we are talking about vegetative reproduction. Vegetative reproduction. Under the vegetative reproduction, you know very well, in all type of the algae, one type of vegetative reproduction is present, that is fragmentation. So it is very unique and very common, which is present in all. So in case of the green algae, fragmentation. So in case of this green algae, fragmentation. Even in case of brown algae, same hoga, that is fragmentation. And as well as in case of red algae, same type, there is a presence of fragmentation. In case of red algae, same type, that is fragmentation. No question because it's very easy. Just quickly check. In all type, vegetative reproduction, there is a presence of only one type, fragmentation, fragmentation, and the fragmentation. Second part, we are talking about asexual reproduction, where single parent is involved. Asexual reproduction. Under the asexual reproduction, first of all, we are talking about there is a presence of zoospore. And you know very well, whenever we are talking about the zoospore also called as the motile spore. Okay, so here we are talking about there is a presence of the zoospore. Yes, zoospore, or simply these are called as the motile spore present. Got it? Zoospore, right? And whenever we are talking about next part, with respect to non-motile, and that non-motile also called as the aplanospore. Okay, so got it. Sound is clear now. It's clear now. Now sound is clear. Tell me. Okay, Komal. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. Chalo. So we are talking about under the asexual mode of reproduction, two types of spores are present. Might be possible there is a presence of the motile spore or there is a presence of the aplanospore. Aplanospore means what? The spore who lack the flagella, and aplanospore also called as the non-motile spore. Now, second point with respect to again brown algae. In case of this brown algae, again same point. There is a presence of the zoospore because flagellated present होंगे or sometime there is a presence of the aplanospore. So it's very common in case of this brown and the green algae. Might be possible whatever the spores are produced, because see we are talking about the mitospore, because last class also discussed during the asexual mode of reproduction we produce the mitospore. What we produce the mitospore, that is product of mitosis. So such type of this mitospore might be possible, these are the motile or the non-motile, so both conditions are present. But in case of this red algae, okay, but in case of this red algae, whenever we are talking about the zoospore zoospore basically totally absent. Motile spore, these are the absent. And whenever we are talking about whatever the spores are present, all these spores basically aplanospore. Which spore is present? Aplanospore is present. So please remember this point. It's very unique for the red algae. In case of this red algae, motile asexual spore, motile mitospore totally absent. But in this point, there is a presence of flag spore, which is a non-flagellated. So you know very well, whenever we are talking about the aplanospore, it means that these are non-motile spore. Okay, so aplanospore present but zoospore absent. Got it? This point is clear. Just remember only in red algae zoospore absent. Rest of portion is similar in all. Okay, chalo. And the last point we are talking about sexual reproduction. Next point we are talking about sexual reproduction. Very much common. Again, three types of sexual reproduction is present: isogamous, unisogamous, oogamous. And oogamous, these are the most advanced. So quickly we are taking all these points. First of all, we are talking about under the green algae. There is a presence of first type, very simple, isogamous. And isogamous, basically these are the most common mode of sexual reproduction. Most common. Isogamous. Okay. Now, sometimes also there is a presence of the unisogamous, that is morphologically different gametes they show in fusion, and most advanced, that is oogamous also present. Oogamous, and we already discussed this point. Among these all, which is the most advanced technique, that is oogamous. Basically, these are the most advanced. So, under the oogamous, we are taking few examples. Number one, volvox, also called as the rolling alga, and the number second, that is Kara, also called as the stonework. So volvox and the Kara, these are undergo oogamous type of sexual reproduction because these are the most advanced method. That's it. Kara, also called as the stonework because body it is made up of the calcium carbonate. And in case of this Kara, also we discussed this point. The sex organ basically these are the multicellular plus jacketed, which is a very unique for the green algae. And volvox basically these are the motile. And in case of this motile, we already discussed one point. These are also called as the rolling alga. Okay. So these are the sexual mode of reproduction in case of this green algae. Now, similarly, we are talking about three types present in case of the brown algae. Under the brown algae, we are talking about very simple isogamous present है. Again, there is a presence of the unisogamous, and the most advanced, that is oogamous method also present. Oogamous method. But again, quickly we are taking the few examples which is come under the oogamous technique. And under the oogamous, we are taking one example, that is fucus. Okay, fucus, because fucus, these are showing most advanced type of the technique, that is sexual reproduction, oogamous type. That's it. Now, very unique with respect to red algae. In case of this red algae, first two types, that is isogamous sexual mode of reproduction. Second, unisogamous sexual mode of reproduction. Both these are totally absent. Isogamous also absent, as well as unisogamous also absent. So whenever we are talking about these two types totally absent. Got it? Isogamous as well as unisogamous, both these techniques totally absent. But in this point, only and only there is one method is present, that is oogamous sexual mode of reproduction is present. जितने भी हमारे पास examples हैं, right? All these examples basically we are talking about. These are simply, you can say, oogamous technique is present. Now I'm talking one point because I just revising this point in case of bryophyta. So in case of this oogamous method, definitely sex organ present honge, right? And you know very well, we first of all we are talking about male sex organ. And the number second, we are using the name, that is female sex organ. So in case of algae, red algae, only one type of method is present, sexual mode of reproduction, that is oogamous. And under the oogamous, whatever the male sex organ, that male sex organ simply these are called as the antheridia. Male sex organ called as antheridia. Okay, antheridia, right? Or antheridium. You can take any one. Both are correct actually. Antheridia or antheridium. So these are the part with respect to male sex organ. But when you talk about female sex organ, now in case of this female sex organ, we are using the word carpogonium. It's a very unique name, okay? It's present only and only in case of algae. If hard level question, agar hard level ka question bana, that question is coming from the female sex organ called as the carpogonium. No need to remember, we are considering that paper quite be easy to moderate. But agar hua by chance, in case of DPP or in case of assignment, if you get any question, so you can easily predict that point. Because in case of this amphibian, I want to tell you one thing. Amphibians, these are the plant where first time female sex organ get developed. That female sex organ, these are called as the archegonia. So I want to tell you that point about the archegonia in case of bryophyta. That's why I'm telling you. यहाँ पे हम बात करें in case of this female sex organ, whatever the female sex organ is present, name that is carpogonium. Got it? Carpogonium. Just remember, because in case of this bryophyta, we'll discuss the different name like archegonium. So we'll connect that point. Quickly check. These are the last point of the differentiation. We start from the habitat and now we end with sexual mode of reproduction. Done. Everybody, can you hear me? Okay. Yeah. Last point again, niche favorite part, economic importance. That's it. And then with this we end algae part. Okay, Komal, chalo. Okay. So next point and the last point we are talking about economic importance. Write down the title. Differentiation part is over, okay? Differentiation part is over. You can write down in vertical manner. So next part we are talking about economic importance. First of all, we are talking about chlorophycine, green algae. Okay. In case of this green algae, first of all, we are talking about food source. First one. So first of all, we are talking about source of food. You know very well, basically chlorella. One question need favorite part. Chlorella. Okay. Chlorella also called as this space alga because mostly it is a protein rich source and it is used by the space traveler. Right? Yes, it is a STP. Very good. So we are talking about the chlorella. Chlorella also called as the space alga because these are the source of SCP. And you know very well SCP, that is single cell protein, right? Because these are the protein rich. Single cell protein, these are the protein biomass. So due to that protein efficiency, mostly chlorella, these are the used by the space traveler. That's what is also called as the space alga. Got it? Now, second economic important, again it is related to food and we are talking about it is used as a salad. As a salad use करेंगे इसको. An example is alva. Okay, so we are taking two examples. Number one, chlorella, because chlorella is very much common example, and another one example that is alva used as a salad. Specifically. Now, number second, brown algae. Neat favorite question with respect to brown algae economic importance. So first of all, we are talking about the first source, that is food. So first of all, in case of this brown algae, we are talking about the food. In case of this brown algae, basically, laminaria, first example, sargassum, and giant algae who having approximately 100-meter height, Kelp's condition, macrocystis. So these are the three examples where we use as a food. Now we are talking about next point, iodine source. ये food का source हो गया. Now we are talking about iodine source. One example, we are talking about fucus. Fucus basically these are the good source of iodine, and another example that is laminaria. So during the medical use, is this any neck swelling condition? So during the neck swelling treatment, this fucus and the laminaria it is used because it is a good source of iodine. So two example for the iodine source. Number one that is fucus and the another example laminaria. Okay. We are talking about another economic important. There is production of alginic acid because see हमने algin देखा था. Algin these are the what part of the phycocolloid. Okay, algin, fusin, ficodine. So now in this point I am talking about one use that is alginic acid. Yes, common treatment. So next point we are talking about there is a use with respect to acid and name of the acid that is alginic acid. Alginic acid basically is produced from kelps. Kelps, large size brown algae, right? And if I'm talking about what is the use, this alginic acid, it is used as a emulsifier. It is used as a emulsifier. So we are talking about the two major economic importance. Number one that is iodine source and the number second that is alginic acid. Alginic acid is obtained from the kelps and the iodine source two example fucus and the laminaria. Chalo. Last example we are talking about red algae. Again red algae is a neat favorite part. Red algae. So first of all we are talking about example where we use as a food source. Number one porphyra. Number second chondrus. Porphyra and the chondrus. These are the used as a good food source. And if I'm talking about chondrus, also called as the Irish moss, common name chondrus. These are also called as the Irish moss, which is a good source of the food. Now, second example we are talking about as a agar source. Just we discuss example, two example, number one geladium and the glacilaria. First one geladium and the number second glacilaria. Okay, you know very well whenever we are talking about this agar basically used as a solidifying agent. EPTC, as well as it is used as a thickening agent in bakery products. Used as a thickening agent. Okay, thickening agent in bakery products like preparation. आपको पता है वो टीचर भी बहुत टाइप के आते हैं for use for the talking process. So you give some galaxy effect. So such type of this some kind of it, not all. Agar might be used. So thickening agent is used in bakery. So these are the some economic importance. Another after the agar we are talking about that is carrageenan. Okay. Example carrageenan basically is obtained from the chondrus. Irish moss. It is okay. PTC, that is plant tissue culture. Now sound is clear. Sound is clear. Quickly tell me. Sound is clear. Okay. PTC, that is plant tissue culture. Hmm? Yeah. So we are talking about that is carrageenan. Carrageenan, it is obtained from the chondrus. And if I'm talking about what is the used, so these carrageenan basically used in finishing of leather. Finishing of leather. Okay. And the last example, funori. Funori. Example, funori basically it is obtained from seaweed. Obtained from the seaweed. And if I'm talking about what is the function of that funori, funori basically it is used as a glue, or simply it's used as some adhesive agent. Taking purpose, we have economic importance with respect to red algae, Agastos geladium, carrageenan obtained from the chondrus, funori obtained from the seaweed. And porphyra and the chondrus, also called as Irish moss, used as a food source. Got it? Just quickly tell me, is this any doubt? Is this any doubt from today's class? Okay, very good. Okay. Yeah. So with this, we end today's session. Whatever part, because thoda sa part bacha hai, we have to discuss specific condition with respect to brown algae, very unique because already one question asked in AIPMT. And the another we discuss the shape of chloroplast, which is present in different organisms like Spirogyra in Chlamydomonas, because sometimes few questions match the column A with B. So only 5 to 10 minutes part is left. From next class, we start the amphibian plants, that is bryophyta. Got it? Yeah. Thank you so much.